Another questionable move by Donald Trump. This time he attacked a federal judge. Trump told the Wall Street Journal last week that Judge Gonzalo Curiel could not fairly preside over a case involving Trump University because his parents are Mexican immigrants. Trump called the judge's background, quote, an inherent conflict of interest because he cannot be impartial of Trump's idea to build a wall separating Mexico from the U.S. The court case is coming from former Trump University students claiming fraud. This as House Speaker Paul Ryan finally endorsed Trump for president. Ryan ripped Trump's claim, saying that he completely disagrees. Many claim that this shows a lack of understanding of the Constitution and presidency. Does Donald Trump respect the constitutional limits placed on the presidency? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on Facebook and on Twitter. Right now, joining us live in the newsroom is Fox 26 senior legal analyst Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
So Donald Trump is known and certainly has made a campaign out of dropping bombs, and he certainly dropped one here. The issue is taken off like wildfire. He finally got Paul Ryan to come out and say he endorsed him, and then the next day he attacks a federal judge on this Trump University, who's presiding over the Trump University case in California. Oddly enough, this is the same judge who ruled that the trial wouldn't start until after the election, which was a huge victory for Donald Trump. I don't know anybody else in the country that could have gotten that ruling that we'll wait until after the election for you to have to even deal with this case. And then he attacks him, saying he can't be fair. And the knock coming from not only Democrats but Republicans alike is that Donald Trump has shown time and time again that he doesn't respect the limits that are placed on the president by the Constitution, and that this attack on a federal judge shows just that. He doubled down on his complaint about the judge the next day when he said, what's going to happen if I walk in there in November and I'm the president? How's he going to rule over me? Mustafa Tamiz, is this Donald Trump just being Donald Trump, or is he foreshadowing that he doesn't respect those limits placed, the checks and balances placed on the Constitution, on the presidency?
Well, I'm surprised that people are surprised. I mean, Donald Trump is
great line.
An authoritarian. He believes, and his business experience shows that he always maximizes his personal advantage. So if he's to claim a bankruptcy, he will claim a bankruptcy. He will always do what's in his interest. And the fact that people think that he's going to somehow turn into an individual that will do what's in the interest of the United States, it's laughable. This guy's always been about him. Every building is named after him. So this is just another aspect of it. And he did the same thing with Jeff Bezos. When the Washington Post started doing the investigative stories on him, he attacked Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, who owns Washington Post, because he always believes in going after people in a very personal, in a very mean way, so that he sets people as an example that others won't come after him. And this is what he's doing again.
But to attack a federal district judge and say, you don't have the authority over me when I become the president, that's different than attacking Jeff Bezos for doing a story on you.
So it's the same kind of attack, but we're talking about it because it's a judge. I think I agree with my colleague that...
You did what? I'm sorry?
Yeah, I do. I do agree with him because I find it, you know, sort of funny that this is newsworthy, because Donald Trump has been saying things that are not typical of a politician. And that actually... fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, that's been part of his popularity. I've heard people time and time again, not typical Republican voters, independent voters, say, I like Donald Trump because he says things that you never would hear from a politician. He's not a typical politician. This is pretty much going in line with that. I do find it funny that he said that, you know, Donald Trump's about Donald Trump. Guess what? most politicians are. And to go back to the Paul Ryan situation, when we discussed it weeks ago, I knew Paul Ryan was going to endorse him.
I had to.
And the fact that he took that meeting tells me a lot about Paul Ryan, because we don't know much about Donald Trump. He's not a politician. Paul Ryan took that time out to visit with him. But then, yes, even though he has endorsed him and he is going to rally and vote for him and try to rally our party to vote for him and others outside of the party to vote for him, when he says something he disagrees with, he's going to be a true man and say, I disagree with this.
The very next day.
This is why everyone likes Paul Ryan.
Very next day. All right, let me go to Rashi. She's monitoring our social media.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about this. Just want to show you some tweets that we have here. We have one person saying Republican Ana Navarro livid over Donald Trump's latest racist comments. A lot of people feeling that way here. Donald Trump said university was all about education. Actually, its goal was sell, sell, sell. Here's another one. Some Trump you folks alleged promise of one-on-one with Trump instead got photo with cardboard cutout.
Well, and and that's, you know, that's what the trial's going to be about. The issue is what's going to happen getting through the election. This is the one issue that Hillary Clinton's been able to attack him on that seems to be sticking. No politician through this primary process has been able to hit Donald Trump on anything that has affected Donald Trump. And when she called him a fraud, that's when he came out and started on the attack, because it stuck.
It stuck because it's believable, it's credible, because he's got a history of doing this kind of work. And this issue has been a national plague, where these universities pop up that are mostly not credited, and people take out loans to go to these things and they get nothing out of it. But getting back to this Donald Trump aspect, you know, I don't think we should compare Donald Trump to other people or other politicians. Politicians, yes, have this you know, confidence about them. That's the nature of politics. But he takes it to a whole different level. A guy like Paul Ryan, who I may not agree with on issues, would put the betterment of the country ahead of him. Donald Trump, I could never see doing anything ahead of his own personal interests. And that and the fact that he is running for the president of the United States, and he is the standard bearer of the Republican Party, and he has a chance of becoming a president, is a thought that should scare all of us.
No, the scarier part is crooked Hillary and lying Hillary, and what we've seen with her foundation and the dollars that is supposed to be raising money for the betterment of other people, but it's really been used to pay for votes and pay for staffers and other things. I think that's the scarier part. Again, her vote ratings are at an all-time low, and then in her own party, Bernie Sanders is calling her out. And when everyone thought that my party was going to be the one that's an issue, is the Democrats that's going into a contested primary, and Bernie Sanders continues to have droves and droves of people rallying around him, continues to outraise Hillary, even though she was given the nomination with this superdelegate system that's really rigged. And it continues to show how the Democrat Party is falling apart at the seams, because she is at the head of the ticket, and she is crooked, and she is lying, and it's working.
Final thought.
Look, politics is not a blood sport, right? At some point, we have to come to consensus on what's acceptable behavior. And what Donald Trump is demonstrating is that this is not acceptable behavior by anybody, much less someone running for the presidency of the United States.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. I'm sorry, we got to leave it right there. I'm sorry, Jackie.
Yeah,
We got to leave it right
right.
there. We'll be back next week, and we'll be wrapping up the hottest stories of the week.